Employers of choice are increasingly offering a range of support for working carers, which makes it possible for them to juggle work and care. And it's not only corporate or public sector employers who can make this happen. Small organisations can be as flexible as their bigger counterparts.
Lists would tend to be, we're not very keen on having specific policies or specific organisational initiatives. What we are very keen on is having a deeply rooted organisational culture which is based upon mutual respect, trust between the employer and the employee, and you know, elements of that culture involve sort of teamwork, empowerment, and so on. And we've worked very hard to maintain and develop that culture. Now, within that culture, when people have a need, for example, to leave the organisation in a sudden emergency or something like that, we can manage that very easily because of the teamwork and the multi-skilling. And there's a common sense that what's really important in life is not necessarily sitting at your desk all day long.
I've been married to my wife Elaine for 13 years. We have 4 children, ranging ages from 12 down to 18 months. 4 children on their own, demanding enough. My wife Elaine has been suffering from depression more or less since the birth of our first child. At first we thought it was really brought on by postnatal depression, but we've later found it's a lot more deep-seated than that, and problems have continued, and she needs a lot of care, a lot of attention, as do all the family. The most difficult thing about juggling my job and my caring responsibilities is feeling torn sometimes between my responsibility to my employer and my responsibility to my family, and the family must win out in the end. So it's very good to work for a company that understands that and is committed to me as much as I'm committed to them, really. Listerwood has been very supportive to me when I have had problems at home. There are times where I've just had to drop everything and leave. There are times when I've been away and I've had to come home, and they've been very supportive. Generally people rally round, people help out.
There are some things that make it easier, such as operating in small teams, multi-skilling. These sorts of things definitely do make it much easier. We don't have complicated systems for managing this within Listerwood. Most of the decisions are taken down at team level. It doesn't require the input or the decisions of managers to decide whether somebody can leave off at 4 o'clock. That's sorted out amongst the team, and the teams are mutually supporting. If somebody's abusing their opportunity, the team members will soon let them know, and they need the support of each other. So it sorts itself out pretty well without management intervention. It works very well for us as a small organisation, and I'm sure it works just as well in larger organisations.
I do work in a team, and the team were very aware of how my life was, you know, revolving around my husband, so they were very cooperative and very supportive, and basically they took a lot of pressure off me by rallying around. It's important for me to carry on working because that's my little bit of independence away from the pressures, if you like, of caring. Listerwood has been pretty good because they've let me change my hours. I was having to start later because I was having to care for my husband in the mornings, making sure everything was there for him to have his day, you know, at home on his own. Ringing up whilst I was at work so that, you know, I knew that he was okay, or if he needed me. And basically, if I needed to go home, I could just go home at a drop of a hat, sort of thing. I wasn't worried about my job or anything like that because I knew how it is at Listerwood. They are caring, and it's just basically they're willing to give to you what you need at that time, the time off, because they know that at the end of the day, I give them like 100% when I'm here. So they're just basically, you know, willing to give that little bit back if and when you need, you know, if and when I need it.
I think irrespective of the kind of organisation or the size of your organisation, there are issues here about treating your staff with respect, about working in partnership with your staff, recognising that they have a life outside their working life. All of those issues apply whatever organisation is the case. And of course, the benefit to the organisation is pretty much the same. Fundamentally, if you look after the staff will look after your customers, and your customers will look after the business.
Carers are clear about the support they need in the workplace, understanding from managers, access to information and advice, flexibility, often short-term, flexible working, including home and teleworking, flexible leave arrangements in addition to time off for emergencies. Employers are equally clear about the business benefits of supporting carers in the workplace. A loyal and committed workforce, improved productivity because of improved morale and reduced stress, retention of key skills and experience, reduced recruitment and retraining costs, reduced absenteeism. The workplace of the future will acknowledge the need to balance work and life, and as part of that balance, the need to support carers. The result is a win-win for both employer and employee, as leading organisations now recognise.
I think the future workplace for carers is actually a very simple environment to create. Carers don't need much. What they do need is effective carers policies that allow them to engage with flexible working options. They need managers who are prepared to listen and to be supportive. And they need some of the basic HR type services like access to emergency leave, etc. None of these things are difficult or expensive. It's actually very easy to create a working environment that engages carers and that provides all sorts of business benefits to your organisation. So the future is simple. The future is about listening and about providing some basic principles and then watching your carers thrive and contribute to your business.